VA better than IPS for eye comfort and reading? I've read conflicting things. The latest Asus eye care monitors are IPS at 75 Hz. There's a previous generation that is still readily available that's VA at 60 Hz. What is the rationale for why VA sometimes is considered more comfortable? Just higher static contrast. And is 75 Hz noticeable for office work in terms of reducing stress on the eyes? Friend of mine said, in my experience it's the other way around. IPS will top VA screens for office work any day. Only thing going for VA there is its price, which usually is lower. And no, the extra 15 Hz won't help with stress on eyes. But 60 Hz is adequate for office work anyway since you don't have as much continuous movement as in a FPS game. What has a much bigger impact for office work is PPI, the higher the better, and make sure you get a flicker-free monitor as they advertise them now, no PWM used for brightness control. That sounds totally sensible, but I've read numerous anecdotes, including on this forum, saying things like, fully agree with you. The only aspect of the monitors I've been trying in the past year that still remains problematic is IPS glow. There's no other explanation as to why I've had such problems with all my IPS panels. Back on the 40 inches VA and I feel mostly fine after a few days. It's been a couple of more weeks. Still no eye fatigue from a VA monitor. And I did end up staying with the 32UD60, despite the uniformity issue. Eye comfort is way more important to me. And after years of dealing with eye fatigue from monitors, no way I would go back to IPS or TN. I must admit that VA are in some way more like flat surface in that eyes have at least surface to focus at, unlike IPS which seems to be more like watching transparent mosaic of colored glass. Low contrast or not, on the VA panel I feel much less like I'm looking at the backlight than the panel itself. And even within my lower contrast setup for text, there is much more range on the VA than on IPS. For example, I have a slightly lighter active line color than the background color set up in my text editor. On IPS, I can just barely make out the active line color. On VA, the active line color is very obvious. I am 100% sure IPS technology somehow negatively affecting my eyes. I can't sit in front of IPS panel any longer than 30 minutes. My eyes start burning and tearing. I had 3 IPS monitors, which are returned now to a shop due to the same eye strain. They were perfectly calibrated with ideal color temperature and no PWM. Before IPS monitors I had low-quality TN panel with a strong blue tint on my older laptop. I was able to sit in front of it 24/7 without any discomfort. Now, after I returned 3 IPS monitors, I bought TN panel and I feel such a great relief on my eyes, as I can easily work for 8 hours without any problems. I've had the same experience. Last spring I was shopping for a new ThinkPad and tried several different machines before reluctantly deciding to beef up my aging T530. The TN panel on my T530 doesn't cause me any fatigue whatsoever, but every model I tried with an IPS panel really punished my eyes.